Were they denied requests for help during the attack?
Well, we are finding out exactly what happened. I can tell you, as I've said over the last couple of months since this happened, that the minute I found out what was going on, I gave 3 very clear directives. Number 1, make sure that we are securing our personnel and doing whatever we need to. Number 2, we're going to investigate exactly what happened to make sure it doesn't happen again. Number 3, find out who did this so we can bring them to justice.
With us now, the senior senator from the great state of Oklahoma, Republican Jim Inhoff joins us. Senator Inhoff, thank you so much for being on the program. The Egyptians arrested one of the purported conspirators of the 9/11 attack in Benghazi, Libya. The Turks arrested another one using a false passport. Are the surrounding countries doing the right thing? Will that be the way this gets resolved rather than by a military attack?
Yes, it could, but I think what that points to is more evidence on how well planned this is. It's using a lot of people from a lot of different countries.
Good point.
And I think that's what I would conclude. You know, the big issue has been, Geraldo, now for weeks and weeks, as to whether or not this thing was a cover-up by trying to imply this was not well thought out and part of an al-Qaeda attack. But I think the evidence, when you think a few days ago when they came out with the memos, that the State Department actually on September 11th sent a notification which went to the situation Sharia involved. There's no reason that somehow this is spontaneous and everything has indicated that.
Indicated this was indeed a terrorist attack. They knew it was a terrorist attack in real time and should not have been and distorted in their presentation of what they knew when they knew it.
And if that's true, and I believe it is true, that means they just willfully lied. And that would during their job. Really like the guy. And after this tough dude, he told me it would do this. And it much weeks.
You were the president. You know, as his death.
Well, you've got not a lot of Benghazi. And so I think that has to be handled rather carefully. But the more that we point the finger to the information we have from Ansar al-Sharia, we know we have a pretty good indication of who is around him. Go after those people and do it more surgically than coming through and blowing everything up. This is not a situation that Ronald Reagan faced back many years ago, where you go in and just take everything out. So I think we're getting closer to knowing who was there, but it does point to al-Qaeda. This is a part of that. They are alive and well. This is what happened.
This cries out, it seems to me, for a prudent, professional probe, a hearing conducted by Congress, but by your committee, by the Foreign Relations Committee, because it seems to me that the House Oversight Committee has been justly accused of politicizing this. And you have your colleague on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, John Kerry, saying the other day that the House Oversight Committee, by their wholesale release of State Department documents, has exposed Libyan nationals working with the United States to possible danger. Isn't it a problem, the politics of this, to getting to the truth? Isn't it interfering with the quest?
You know, that's a very good point, Geraldo. And I've kind of personally, I haven't talked to anyone about this, but the election's very close right now. And I think if we get on past that, you know, I asked for hearings way back when it first happened, thinking that we could get something resolved. At that time, we didn't even know, well, we still don't know today, a lot of details as to the death of Chris Stevens. But there's information that was left out. Since they have refused to have a hearing up to this point, I think now we should just wait till after the election's over, so it would not be politically motivated, but we could get to the end of this thing so we could know what to anticipate next. It was just clearly something that was well orchestrated, well thought out, well engineered, and there it was. So I just think now that anything that comes from this point between now and the 6th of November is going to look very, very suspect.
So should we put aside at least temporarily until post-election, Senator Jim Inhofe, the question of who should bear ultimate responsibility, whether this or that official should resign their office?
No, I think that everybody knows now. I think if you had asked me that question a month ago, then I'd have a different answer. But now everybody knows. If you notice, they had that last debate and Romney. Nothing ever came up on this thing, and I think he was probably well advised not to bring it up.
Senator Jim Inhofe, thank you so much, Senator. It's always a pleasure speaking with you, sir. Thank you. A reminder, tomorrow night at 9 Eastern, aside from Frankenstorm, our probe of Benghazi Gate continues with Senator Bob Corker, also of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee.